I plan on upgrading my personal rig this year around January, but as you all know, the crazy price hike just started back then. So my plans just went down to the drain. But after 7 months of waiting, I was able to purchase these parts. And today we're going to check its individual parts, build it, and test its performance. We'll tell you everything you need to know coming up. First of all, let's check out the CPU. So this is the Ryzen 7 5800X, an 8-core 16-thread processor with a 4.7 GHz max boost and a 3.8 GHz base. This will be perfect for my multitasking workflow. Just in case you don't know, I do a lot of video editing, 3D modeling in Blender, and that also includes the graphic designing for my video thumbnails and 3D modeling texture and texture materials as well. And while waiting for some rendering to finish, I'm taking that time to answer your comments in this channel. And yes, this CPU is just perfect for my workflow. Now, to dissipate heat of our CPU, since this one doesn't have a cooler included in the box, we will be using ZoomFlow 240XT from ID Cooling. Well, I'm not going into more details about its features, but just in case some of you are interested, just check this out and pause the video. As for the motherboard, I chose the MSI B550 Pro VDH Wi-Fi. This is a very simple all-black design and I really love it. It has all the features I wanted and needed for my build. B550 chipset, single PCIe 16 slot, 4 DIMMs dual channel DDR4 with 4400 MHz overclock support. It has 2 times M.2 slot, 1 Gen 4 and also the other one is Gen 3 only. This also has a 4 SATA slot, which is more than enough of what I needed. I think I'll be using only 2 SATA slots for this one. It also has a 6 Type A USB 3.2 and a Type C USB connector for the front panel I/O. It also has a Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, LAN Ethernet connector and audio connectors as well. Not to mention the Flash BIOS button wherein flashing BIOS are made easy. This will be handy in the future just in case you wanted to update your BIOS. By the way, just in case some of you guys are curious about its RGB features, this motherboard has 2x4 pin and a 2x3 pin RGB headers. It also has a physical button to turn it all off. Anyway, to sum it all up, this motherboard is simple and has all the necessary features that I'll be needing. No gamer gimmick, just pure performance. What I like in particular are the easy overclocks, and all you need to do is just to simply click this one to overclock your CPU and this one to overclock your memory. Speaking of memory, we'll be using the Crucial Ballistics 2x8GB DDR4 with 3600 MHz RAM speed. This has an RGB design and hopefully it will perform as amazing as it looks, wherein I think it will. So let's move on. For the boot drive, I chose the Aorus NVMe Gen 4 M.2 SSD. It has a 500GB storage capacity, sequence read up to 5000 MB per second, sequential write up to 2500 MB per second. This is a perfect choice for boot drive for fast boot to Windows. By the way, it also has its own heat spreader, which is greatly appreciated, and I guess I'll be using that one instead of the one that's included with the motherboard. Now for the start of the build and the most expensive part of the whole system. So this is the graphics card, and this is called the MSI Gaming X Trio, the RTX 3070 Ti. It was freshly released last month and one of the most awaited GPU in 2021. This GPU has an 8GB DDR6X 256-bit, and for the ports we have 3 times display port and a single HDMI port. 3 fans with specific airflow orientation to dissipate heat more efficiently. Its core pipes makes the maximum contact to the GPU base plate and spreads the heat along the full length of the heatsink. Well, we will just have to test that, right? So keep watching if you want to see its performance in a bit. Now to power the entire system, I chose the Corsair SF750 with 80+ Platinum certified PSU. This is actually made for a small form factor build, which is perfect for our PC case. It is modular as well with black sleeve included in the package by default. There are also some usable stuff in the box just in case you might use it in the future. For our PC case, we will be using the O11 Dynamic Mini from Lee. I had this one in my office since January this year because I thought I'll be able to build a system in it right away, but yeah, I was not able to up until now. I won't go into details about this case since we already reviewed this chassis before. Just check out the card at the top right side corner of your screen if you wanted to watch the full details of this PC case. Lastly, for the case fans, I chip out a bit, so don't hate me. This is the graphics card's fault for being crazy expensive. Anyway, this is called the Inplay Aurora one with 3 fans included in a single box, and I bought 3 boxes of this, which I will use 7 fans for this build and the other 2 will be installed in an APU build. This one has a nice fan controller with 3 to 4 fan speed with hydraulic bearings and a hub control which you can connect to a Molex to power it up. No PWM connection for the motherboard, but for some reason they managed to make an RGB connection so that the RGB will sync in different motherboard manufacturers. Talk about priorities there, huh? Well, this will do for now, I guess, but I plan to buy the Lee Unifans in the future. With all of the parts introduced, now I guess it's time for us to build it. So, let's go! So we tested it out with some workloads and here are the benchmarks. For your information guys, this system can handle 4K resolution, but unfortunately I don't have a 4K monitor on hand to test it out. However, I plan on buying one soon and also review it in this channel, so don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss it. There are some few regrets that I've made in this build, specifically some parts of the PC that I'm not happy about. Number one is the AIO, the ZoomFlow 240XT. It just cannot keep up with the Ryzen 7 5800X temperature buildup. I got a bit worried when I tried rendering a video, then the temperature reached up to 88°C. So when I checked the fan curve, it's not on in the BIOS, so I tried to check that out and custom it a little bit. So the best temps it can produce after tweaking it is around 86°C. By the way, all of these are done in stock settings and I haven't overclocked the CPU just yet. Just think about how hot it will become if ever I do so, but I guess we won't be able to do that right now. I'm not saying the AIO itself is a bad product, it's just it's not made for 5800X. The AIO cooler might be fine with 5600 but not for 5800X or higher. I plan on replacing this AIO cooler soon, so if you got any suggestions, please let me know in the comment section below. Another mistake are the fan choice. Aesthetically, it looks pleasing, slick, and nice. Performance-wise, I like the different fan speed levels, but you will completely rely on the remote included. I was hoping the fan hub can connect to the motherboard's PWM so all controls can be automatic, but unfortunately, the remote is all you have. Though the fan hub can connect to the motherboard's RGB header, the problem is the hub setting completely resets every time you shut down your PC. So basically you have to press the power button on twice using the remote every time you want the RGB to sync its color in the entire system, which is very unfortunate. And yes, like I said earlier, I will replace this with the Lian Li Unifans in the future. Other than this two, everything else is perfect. I mean, the O11 Dynamic Mini has a very unique design with no problem in cable management, airflow, and building flexibility. I'm kinda tempted to buy the vertical GPU mount since the GPU is very long and might sag even more in the future. And speaking of GPU, it performs so good that I got no complaints at all. It's like it's telling me to buy a better monitor since 2K resolution is a piece of cake for it to handle. The motherboard's performance are perfectly simple and easy to operate, and the only downside I can see for now are the RGB software for the RAMs. It is not working smoothly as it should. I'm not sure if this is because of the motherboard or the MSI Center software or the RAM modules itself, but I saw one forum that MSI is doing something about this issue already, so I guess we'll just have to update it by then. For the overall performance, I could say that this is the best PC I owned so far. I mean, I'm coming from an ancient monk PC, the i5-4460 with the RX 390 graphics card. It's a big leap, I should say. Though I have tried and built PCs better than my potato rig, which you can check by the way at the top right corner of your screen. I never actually owned something like this and I'm really happy about it. Well, the truth is, I personally want to thank you guys because without you, my subscribers and my viewers, I won't be able to afford something like this. So with all of my heart, from the bottom of my heart, should I say, I really want to thank you. I promise you guys that I'll keep doing more interesting and helpful videos like this one. So that's it guys, this is Mac and I hope you found this video interesting and helpful. If it does, make sure to give us a thumbs up and share it. Thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next one.